I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Teresa, please take the roll.
Okay, Mayor Jones.
Here.
Keel.
Here.
Bowen.
Here.
Horacek.
Here.
Mattson.
Here.
And Schilling.
Here.
All right, do we have any additions or changes to the agenda for tonight's meeting?
Motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Mattson?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Keel?
Here. Yes.
Horacek?
Yes.
Schilling?
Yes.
You are here.
I was reading the roll call, yes.
How about minutes from the 11-4 meeting?
Motion to approve the meeting minutes from 11:04. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Schilling?
Yes.
Horacek?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Mattson? All right, the bills are in the packet. Any action on the bills?
Motion to approve the bills as presented. Second.
Any discussion? I don't think I've seen anything that stuck out.
Boring.
Pretty normal. All right, hearing none, we'll vote. Mattson?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Horacek?
Yes.
Schilling?
Yes.
All right, public comment. Anybody who is not on the agenda? I would like to come up and talk. Seeing no one, we'll move down to applications, agreements, hearings, resolutions, ordinances. First one, special event permit for 2025 Hometown Christmas.
Motion to approve the special event application for Hometown Christmas.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Schilling?
Yes.
Horacek?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Mattson?
Yes.
All right, second one is review, approve cannabis dispensary license application for Unity Road LLC. Information is in the packet. A couple of the gentlemen are here tonight. If we have any questions, they are moving into the, do we call it the former Unity Road building and we call it the new Unity Road building? Does that make sense? They've paid their fee, their application, everything is,
Yep, and got their application and all the supporting documents with it and reviewed it. They meet all our standards and regulations. They are zoned correctly. They,
Yep.
like I said, have all the documentation required per our ordinance.
More procedural question. We ask about felony convictions, but we don't have any. Is there, did I miss something?
No, so per our ordinance, you do have to ask if they, and this is another step kind of
Yep.
the state.
I
You have
found
to
it.
ask if they've got a felony. They do have that one mark there. Basically, they have to send a statement saying that it was nonviolent and, how many years ago.
Yep.
I've got that statement from them that it was nonviolent, and it was back in, I believe, 78. Several years ago, so it's a.
And the state probably does the same thing because it's based on state.
I haven't seen the state application, but I'm assuming they do.
Actually, the state doesn't even go back that far.
So you just go ahead.
Just curious.
Yep, yep,
No
so,
concern.
so yeah, per ordinance though, it'd say, we need a statement saying it's not violent, and they provided that.
all right? Any action from the council?
I would make a motion to approve the cannabis dispensary license application for Unity Road LLC. Second.
Any discussion? What's your anticipated open date?
January 1st.
Okay. All right, anything else? Hearing none, we'll vote. Schilling?
Yes.
Horacek?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Bowen?
Abstain.
Mattson?
Yes.
All right, that's 4. We got that. Good to go?
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome to Hartford again.
Welcome back.
All right, let me get moving on down here. Next up, we are to engineers report. Justin, you will run through the stuff, and then we'll move on to the review of the drainage issue.
Absolutely. You give Michael a little bit more exciting intro, so I don't know if it's just.
Well, I only use that on my
You gotta
side.
earn it, you gotta earn it.
Sorry.
That's all it is.
All right,
That's,
all right.
that's his, that's the one thing he
Lost it.
gets, you don't.
All right, fair enough, okay. Engineers report this month is actually going to be a little short and sweet, so we're kind of getting to that time of year where all of our projects, I would say, got done earlier in the year, so everything's hit pretty well. Water resource recovery facility, I would say, we're 98% done with that project, so just some small little wrap-up items here and there, working with Craig and team, as some items come up, get those addressed. Do have a little commissioning on some equipment yet, the sludge press, but everything's tracking very well there. Western Avenue reconstruction, as well again. Not a very exciting update other than roadway looks really good, have it open, a lot of seating restoration done. They're getting some of the riprap installed today, so getting some of those loose ends tied up. There will be a punch list period, so there are some minor items that are outstanding. We'll be taking care of this fall into the spring as well. Seating restoration items will fall into the spring.
That far north end where they've stopped with rock, that's as far as it goes?
When I went through tonight, it was dark. I was going to
Okay.
swing back out tomorrow and verify.
Yeah, I was through there yesterday.
They still got a little bit of work in there to do.
Right.
Just
Okay.
talking with Tim.
I was just curious.
Yep.
It looked like they kind of had it tapered off down at the north end, so I wonder if that's as far as they go.
Yep, so getting close and getting that one dressed up there.
Okay?
Citywide water model, if we look at that schedule there, we have draft modeling report early December. That draft is being reviewed by the internal team right now and would expect to get that over to city staff to review with Thanksgiving. Week of Thanksgiving, understanding the holiday, I mean, we can realistically say they'll probably review will occur still at early December. And probably look at adoption of that report in January, presentation to council on that project as well. So that will include the full report that shows all the existing condition plus proposed condition and future growth within the city to really set ourselves up to understand as we get new developments, what we should be sizing our water main for. Shared use path on this one, moving forward with design for the fall here. Looking to have design wrapped up, call it February-ish timeframe, and then we'll go into DOT review, FHWA review on that project as well. In addition, there's a few site plans that are coming in, reviewing those as they come up, and observing some of the public improvements for Nielsen's development out there. Here to address any questions on our general engineering.
You will get the path built next summer, right?
Yes, sir. Justin will be out there with a wheelbarrow if anything, so.
Okay. Did he say that loud enough so we got that on tape? Mark that tomorrow. I see we got one pay request. You want to handle that?
Yep, a pay request for wastewater treatment facility in the amount of $451,588. This is largely reduction in some of that retainage, still retaining 1% on the total project, releasing some of that retainage due to a lot of that work being done.
I see we still have a little bit left in our contingency.
Motion to approve pay request number 25 to Rice Lake Construction Group for $451,588.
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Mattson?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Parachik?
Yes.
Schilling?
Yes.
All right, you got anything else, Justin, before we move into the drainage deal?
No, I may need to just stall a little bit.
I got a
make
quick,
some small
as we're
talk
doing that,
on
a
it.
quick question on, approximately how many gallons of water do we use per day in the city?
About 260,000 roughly.
I always thought, and I think you and I talked about this when I got the tour, I always thought it was in that 600,000
It
gallons
can,
per
it
day.
can get that high.
That's our
In
peak.
the summertime.
So that's peak, okay.
Yeah, so the summer peak, water, lawn usage,
yeah.
irrigation, everything else,
Okay.
those other projects, that's where you'll see those peak demands. Within that report too, there will be some analysis just on our peak days, looking at water trends and looking for future. One of the recommendations will be actually looking at, next location for water storage and the volume in that too, so.
We're contracted for 2 million a day. Is that contract good for another 2 years with Minnehaha County?
It is on
Or is it another
hold
year?
right now until they finish their facility improvements.
Okay.
And then we're basically, just sitting on hold until, from what they've indicated to me, they will honor our current contract price. They won't reduce it.
Okay. Thank you.
Hasn't been approved by their board, but that's what they're indicating, so hopefully.
Anything else on general engineering?
I don't believe so. Anybody else got any questions for Justin? If not, we'll move on to the next deal. All right.
Okay, jumping into this one, I'll ask if I can just have time to present. What I'm going to do for you guys is just go over some theory, science between drainage aspects when we look at some of these site plans, when communities develop, look at some historical images, and just recap some of those conversations. I know last council meeting there was some discussion on this, so I apologize if there's some repeat, but just want to be thorough in the presentation presented to you guys today. So starting out, as the city develops, as a site develops, specifically in the city of Hartford, there is an ordinance that requires that private development to manage their stormwater runoff. So we see that in a lot of communities, a lot of states, it's pretty typical for that. The reason for that is as the site develops, as we put impervious area on that site, there is more stormwater runoff. It isn't allowed to infiltrate into the ground. So when we look at that, we look at the existing land condition compared to the proposed, and that's what's setting our release rate, our existing condition. So we're never going to exceed that. Through management of our stormwater, one of the practices is to create a detention basin. So what that detention basin does, it restricts the outflow of the water. So think of a berm, think of a pond, that stormwater is going to go in there and it's going to be restricted at a certain rate before it leaves the site. And that rate at what it's restricted is that existing condition rate. We look at the 5-year storm and the 100-year storm, and that's our minor and major storm events. We call that 100-year storm event the largest storm event that we're going to see. Now, we all know there's the anomalies, back in 2024 when Kent got that 18 inches of rainfall. That's hard to design for, so that's where we, set it at that 5 and 100 year. But to reiterate, that detention basin is really retaining all that stormwater back. So what you'll see in this 100-year rainfall event, the designed storm, is that rainfall will hit the site, it will be routed to that detention basin, that water level will raise as that water is being detained and only released at that existing condition rate, and then it will go down as water allows. That's going to prevent downstream flooding effects on those properties. When a site plan is developed, what we require is a stormwater report or stormwater calculations, much as what's shown on the screen up here. What the design engineer is going to do is going to look at existing drainage patterns and make sure that we're adhering to those. So hypothetically speaking, if we got a site that's split in half the water goes one way, half the water goes the other way, that's what's going to restrict the volume of water that can go to each one of those sites. We can't just take all the water, push it to one side, because then we're going to negatively impact this side over here. We'll likely see some positive effects over here, more negative if there's downstream waterway that's depending on that water, but that's where that checks and balances coming in on that drainage. This is specifically a site plan for black tie. I know it's a little small up there, so I apologize. I'm going to try to zoom in just a touch here. You can see my cursor. This is that outlet structure for the detention basin. So that is a culvert that restricts the water from leaving the site to existing condition runoff. This area right in here is the detention basin. So when we see that 5 and 100-year stormfall rain event, water is going to detain in that area. That is all pervious area. That's grass, wetland area. So inherently there is water infiltrating at the same time while it sits in there. Much of the other remaining parts of the site are impervious, but that's where those design calcs come in, just to make sure we have enough area to detain within that detention basin. Water that leaves the site from Black Tie, I would say generally goes north. It runs east along the south side of 258 until it gets to a culvert right in this area where all these labels are, and then it heads north. At this point, I think it'll be easier just to flip over here. So this is pre-developed condition. Right in this area is where Black Tie and Central States, you can see where that label is. Where we see some of this brown area, that's where the water flows. It goes on the south side. It's a culvert, goes north, goes into this area. It's another culvert and crosses ultimately to the east. When we started looking at this, concern that was brought up not only looked at our drainage report and calculation, and I do want to make notes, jumping back here, the design calculations that were provided here show the 5-year and 100-year rainfall events, and shows that we are reducing the rate at which storm water leaves the site in both the 100-year and the 5-year event. That 5-year event, it's only half a CFS. I would say that's pretty negligible, but we are still below our allowable release rate. But for our 100-year event, we're actually reducing that allowable, over half. So we're seeing significantly less than was actually in the existing condition rate. Or to put it in other terms, if we didn't have that detention basin, there would be twice as much water leaving the site at a quicker rate. So that was the first step that I took in taking this review, just to make sure that those site plans were in compliance again, just doing that other thorough check. The other aspect that we like to utilize is just some historical image information. It helps give us some insight to that surrounding landscape, identify drainage patterns that were there prior to, and how they changed, modified, or remained the same throughout the process. And so as I was noting before, Central States and Black Tie is generally in this area. There is a waterway here, and what we can start to identify is wet areas within these fields based on the color differences. So this is July of 2010. So all the green areas is where we're getting some crop establishment. These brown areas are where crops have been flooded out, going in a little tight, flooded out or died just due to water inundation. So I think it's important to note these areas at this time of event before the development of these areas. A few other things to note: when we do cross the highway with that culvert, there is some vegetation along this area that generally runs to the north. Call it a grass waterway of such that follows that drainage path to the north. And we also see a little crop loss in this area. I measured it earlier today, that was about an acre in area before that water eventually goes out to the east. I couldn't really zoom in for you guys. So as we pull back, we're just going to flip through some years just to see those changes, or just to confirm what we're seeing. So again, here, this is 2010 again, same drainage patterns. You can start to really see the highlighted areas with that drainage swale in this image, as well as some of those other natural drainage areas within the property. Flip in 2012, we can start to see Central States manufacturing start to develop. Again, we still have this area right to the east of Central States and Black Tie. We still have this area that goes to the north, and then that other wetland, call it just on the west side of the natural gas station there. 2015, Central States is generally fully built out. Still seeing some of those same drainage patterns there, just noted by some of these dark areas. Vegetated swale going up there, some drainage patterns there, as well as this area. Once we flipped to 2017, we identify some changes to the landscape. This is generally around the time when this field was tiled as well, and that's where we see some of those changes occurring. So when this field was tiled, my assumption was that this area was dried out, was made farmable, as well as this vegetated swale that was running to the north. So in that, some of that landscape was changed. It was turned to row crop for some of that vegetated swale. On the south side here, this is still remaining the same. You can see there's probably more farming in this area. It may have been a little drier early on, but those wet areas are still showing up and being pretty prominent. Jumping to 2020, still seeing those areas. So on the north side here, this was all farmed. Some of that tile's working, but you can really note those dark areas within this field is where a lot of that water's holding, or you're seeing more water inundation. In 2021, we do see there's a little bit of work done in that swale there as well, just based on some of that coloration changes. For the sake of time, just going to fast forward a little bit here. Now in 2022, we start to see black tie being able, or starting to develop. Again, this drainage pattern is staying the same. You know, in this year, I would say there was able to be full crop put in there based on weather conditions. 2024, black tie is getting a little further. This drainage pattern remains very close to the same in all these conditions that we have noted here. This image does a good job, in my opinion, of showing where that water wants to be. So even though there is a crop in there, you can see where those lighter colors are. That's where some of that water is inundating those crops long enough to change that color from that dark green to a light green. Then lastly, this brings us up to current. This area is still remaining the same, seeing some of these drainage patterns in here. So with that being said, based on my review and my analysis of this, going back with, you know, our allowable, seeing what those existing drainage patterns are, how they transition to our proposed drainage areas. From my perspective, that site, the development that's occurring on the south side of the road is staying within check, not adding any additional water. From my perspective in the review, if there was additional water going there or some negative impacts, I would expect to see consistent drainage patterns all the way through until one of those development aspects occur, and then start to see a major change. So almost like how we went from the back forward and we saw some of those changes on the landscape, almost if we go back. For example, if this area wasn't present in some of those 2010 or earlier images, that's where we'd start to dive into that a little bit more and try to understand what those effects are. When we look at everything on the south side too, this culvert is going to be, you know, an ultimate restriction on the volume of water that can go through at one time to really get to the land on the north. And when we look at this, I know we're talking black tie in central states, those are developed lots, but there's approximately 157 acres in total on that south side that drain to the north. So this is a pretty significant watershed when we are looking at one culvert, one small drainage path that is going to the north there as well.
So do you think, Justin, that 48-foot drop from the 157 acres over to the 51 on the north side of the road, does that play into this in any?
I would say.
Because that's natural drop,
Yeah,
right?
what plays more is that large drainage area too, right? We have that natural drop in the topography that's creating that drainage area, that volume of water that goes to the north there.
Second question, where does that tile dump, right to that east edge?
Adam, you may have to help me out here. If my memory serves me correctly, there's a
When we
tile
did it
that
first, we
dumps.
kept it all on our land. The one we did in 2020, the fall of 2020, that you can see in 21. We brought it from the culvert, along gravel, all the way up to the highway, and put an inlet in there. So everything before that is on our property going to a creek.
You're saying, what, 21, right?
And in the fall of 2020, you can see it on the spring of 2021 right there.
Yep.
So this one, there's an outlet right there, a tile that runs up here, and
So
there's
there's
an
an
inlet.
inlet to catch water
I
going off the
believe
culvert.
that's a 6-inch pipe with a smaller type inlet right there at the edge of that
Yep.
culvert.
Adam, you got anything you wanna
Yeah, I do.
add?
A bit, I guess, really.
Yep, okay.
I'll just give you guys a map here. It goes back, and he can pull them up too. I know the 2010, I'll show you here. So there's the map, I highlighted them all, and got your directions on there.
Okay.
So this goes back, goes way back in there, but it hasn't changed any. When Don Swanson had this piece of property, you can see in the middle, that dark area there, that's the way the water comes, right in the center of that 80 there. The water comes from the north, comes to the south right there, and goes a little bit to the east. And I guess I'll refute what he said about, when you go back, you can go back to that contour map you had on there, that topography map you had. Anything on the north half of Winterstein's 80 there to the east, I'll just walk up here.
Yeah, that's
Point
fine.
to you. That's all right with you guys.
Yep.
Everything from about here, that all goes north. Everything here goes south. There's no way it can go to the north. There's a hill in there. There's no way it can go past that. If you got water going over the hill, you better be bottling it and selling it, because that's bad water, all right? There's no way that's coming there. I've talked to Mike Grace, who farmed Don Swenson's ground after he retired. I asked him about this piece of ground, and you can go back and pull 2010 up, 2015 up, and 2017 up, and you can see exactly in Don Swenson's where the water flowed in there. And Mike always said when he had that, he said the water went right to the center, and there used to be a drain tile in there that went to the south through there and outletted to the south down there. That's what Mike said, and that's the way I believed it was too, back in the day, back before all this started up. So, if you can go back to that, I know it's in 2010, you can see it right there. You can kind of see the spot right there in the center of it. That's the way the water flows. I guess if he wants to go with the way the water flows, shouldn't the water be flowing to the south and not to the east? I guess is my opinion. I guess if he says that's the natural way the water flows, and that's the way you want to design your drainage problem, it should be coming to the south and not east, I guess. And you can pull up 2015 and 17, and you can see it in those pictures too, right in the center of it, how the water is drained through there before you started getting the soccer park, the soccer fields built there. Right there, you can see it there. You can see the wet spot there, and Winterstein's ground to the east, right through the heart of it there. There's no way any of that's coming to the north. That's all going south there. And both of those guys, I talked to Thad Stofford and Mike Grace, and they both said those tiles all go to the south, and they know the water coming out of Swenson goes through Winterstein's and goes to the south. There's no way any of that goes to the east there. It goes south and kind of southeast anyway to get out of there. Is the way that water flows. Like I told you before, back in July, do I dispute any little water coming to the east? No, I don't. There wasn't that much. There's a hill in the center of that piece, and if you guys ever drive 258 going out there, you know you're going up the hill off to that stop sign going to the east. And that's the way the natural slope was. Central States, I'm fine with them. I don't have an issue with them. I believe they're designed right. They got water coming to the west, which I'm fine with that, and they got water going to the east. And I'm fine with that, because I believe that's right. It's black tie having all that water flowing east. And the other thing he talked about too, the way you get in a detention pond, I feel like there's so much head pressure on there. There's a lot of slope in that detention pond. I guess to me, if you want to retain water, why do we gotta have a slope on it? Why don't we just make it level and just let it trickle out of there? Why do we gotta have a slope on there to speed up the flow of water coming out of there? And the other thing is, there's no culvert there to begin with between the properties. Why do we have an 18-inch culvert out there right now to let water out of there? I mean, right at the bottom of the ground. I don't understand that. I guess to me, I'm asking for a reasonable ask, is why don't we just raise it up a ways and retain some of that water and just have it like an overflow, water later on. When it gets up to a certain level, let it flow out of there. I guess I'm not asking for a lot. I just want it a little bit higher. I don't really care to have water all the time and getting flowed on us, We put drain tile in there, like you said, I think in the report, it looked like we de-watered wetlands in there. Well, we went through all the forms we needed to with the FSA, did our 1026 form. None of it's considered wetland. We tiled it all. We no-till, we don't do any tillage. So that's why all that water, grass waterway was in there. My grandpa always did tillage. He passed away in 2012. And when he passed away, we started doing more drain tillage, and we switched to doing no tillage. So we don't have to till ground up, we don't loosen the soil up, we keep it firm and all that so it doesn't wash. And that's the whole point of it. We don't want the soil to wash. And I guess that's my whole point is, I feel like the last 2 years here, we've had issues, whereas before, I can't say I've really had an issue. 18, 19, yeah, but those are 2 wet years. I mean, I can't really complain about that. But over the last, I don't know, what's Central State's been there now, 10, 15 years?
13 years, probably?
And I mean, I don't have an issue with them, And now all of a sudden black tie's there, and here I got an issue now of getting flooded out. Yeah, he showed those acres, we got flooded out last year, we got flooded out this year. When we got flooded out this year, it was just a 2-inch rain. I guess, how is this compatible for a 100-year flood, I guess, And I'm getting flooded out after a 2-inch rain.
Can I ask a question? I
Yeah,
just want to point
go
that
ahead.
out. So are you getting flooded out
So,
here or?
Over across, where see the pointer?
Oh my gosh.
yeah, so down there, so you got the retention pond right here, flows through there
Yeah.
with an 18-inch culvert, goes down the ditch, crosses right here through an 18-inch culvert, washes all the way down through there. There's no way, we put a 6-inch tile inlet in there, because we really shouldn't be collecting that much water. Really, we should be just getting what Stoffers farm off of Winterstein's. That should be really all the water we should be getting off of, to be collecting into that. I don't feel like we're getting, an 18-inch culvert coming out of that detention pond that's plumb full. I mean, you guys should have seen the water coming out of there. It was pretty impressive. I've never seen that much head pressure pushing water out. And then coming through the culvert underneath the highway, you just stand in front of it, you've been blown away. It's like a fire hose on you. It's, and an acre there, I think he's pretty lax on that. Yeah, it might be an acre or 2, but you've affected about 4, 5, 6 acres that you've also stunted or drowned it out because, not completely drowned out, but you've stunted them by having so much water down there. An acre, I measured central, black tie on Google Earth for where their property is, for what they have, roughly about 10 acres there that can't be infiltrated into the ground when it rains, You get 2 inches of rain, that's 550,000 gallons of water coming, so, yeah, it might not seem like a lot, but when you add up the way they have everything designed, it gets to be a lot of water coming in a hurry on you. And that's my biggest complaint, To me, I'm just asking for a simple ask of let's just raise that culvert up and put a smaller one in there and raise it up 3-4 feet, and actually let the pond do its job of retaining water and keeping it there. I guess my thought is that you guys want businesses to develop, you want development and all that. To me, it's kind of your guys' water. To me, I feel like it's the price of doing business, It's your guys' water to retain, and why do I get forced with it? Why do I get a financial hit on it, for your guys' gain, I guess, is what I'm looking at, so.
Okay.
I don't know, anything else?
I gotta ask a couple questions here.
Okay, go
Hold on. Okay, so Dustin, can you pull up a map that shows Black Tie's retention pond? Do you have anything that shows their pond? Okay, so that was their proposed building. Where is their,
So their pond is generally,
Do you have a measurement on that? Remember that day we looked at it, how big it was?
so their pond is generally this area here.
do they own that? Is that county land? What's the,
That's their property.
they own that all the way down?
Yes.
And how big is that spot? You have a,
Is that similar in size to what it was previous to the black tie development? Because when we shaped and flattened that area, we had retention on the east side and the north side, if I remember correctly, didn't we?
On the Swenson property?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a detention on the back side of on the south side of that wraps around.
One on the south side that wraps around the east.
Yep.
And then what did we have on the north prior to black tie? East and north, wasn't it?
I won't have anything on the north side.
I don't think there's anything
Just
there.
on the east side?
I think it's just on the east. and
Just on the
south
east side. And not the southeast side, there was some on the northeast corner too, wasn't there?
so our central
North-
states,
North corner there was.
North corner, yeah.
so the central states and Black Tie, they tie together, both run into that retention pond? No.
No, they have their separate.
Central States has it where, you see where all the vehicles are on the south side of it? That's banked up and it all goes to the west right there.
It heads west.
Yeah.
And then is there a culvert up there, Justin, on the other end? There, somewhere? Or how does
What are
that?
you saying now?
Run into the
This-
road?
So out of
Yeah,
the,
that right
That
there.
actually goes to the east. This is part of black tie. So this goes to the east.
No, where
That-
those vehicles, they're asking about.
he's
Central
talking
States.
about central states.
Central States
I'm
are
asking about
parked
central
semis on the
states.
south
Oh,
side.
got it.
That all funnels to the west.
You're saying this area right here?
Yeah, where's the central states? Whose
Oh,
is that?
This is black tie.
That's Black Tie.
That's Black Ties. Okay.
So
Central states starts where?
Central States is all up in here.
But just basically to the north of that.
Goes to the.
Is there's a culvert that runs across up there?
That goes to the west.
Yeah, there's a culvert in the corner that comes out of that retention pond, whatever, wherever it's at. I think it's right here, right? I believe. And there's a culvert there. You can see it when it comes out.
Runs straight north or runs
No, it comes
west?
to the west and then it goes across the highway to
Okay.
the north there. And then there's another retention pond right here on Central States, right here. And that one comes out in the ditch, and that one goes in the ditch, and that one does come over. It will get to me.
Eventually.
Yes, it will. But
Okay.
that one is not, I mean, I've seen the water come out of that. That one's not very impressive at all. I mean, there's not that much water there to get me too excited about that one.
Well, so now I'm gonna ask the question that's gonna probably start getting everybody wound up. So they own the retention pond, I'm assuming, right? If there's a change that needs made to that, is that something the city?
I mean, that
Can-
would be on the site, but, you know, I think from an engineering perspective.
They're gonna say they're good.
There doesn't warrant a change. If you start modifying this to detain more water longer, and then you're releasing that at a different time period, you're starting to delay that runoff that's actually going onto that land, and then you may potentially have more negative effects, right? Because if you're taking that water and you're detaining it longer, and say you're pushing it through the system 24, 48 hours after that main flush of rain that comes through, you have the opportunity to inundate your crops longer, right? I think the golden rule, you know, you want to try to, once that crop gets inundated for 48 hours, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Adam, that's generally when you start to see some of that production loss.
I don't, but it's hard to get rid of them. You know, when you got 1.5 foot of water standing in your field, it's hard to get rid of that water.
And
That's what
I
that's my.
don't disagree with that, but if you continue to delay it and prolong it, as you're lowering the water there, you're adding more to it, right? So that's where we have those design standards where we look at reducing that runoff to existing condition rate.
I'm just saying, why can't we just raise just put an 8-inch pipe in there, and raise it up 3 foot, and just use it like a sink overflow, you know? When your sink gets full, it hits the overflow up there and drains out of there.
Who put
Why
the
can't we do
culvert in?
something like that?
Right, that's, right.
Who put the culvert in? And how long's the culvert been in?
Contractor would have put it in, whatever they built.
The road, right?
No, when they
No,
put the
culvert.
retention pond in.
The culvert was put in under the road.
The one that's.
No,
under
not the road,
county-
he's talking the one for
I'm
the
talking about the
retention.
The
County,
county.
when they redid the highway back.
Yeah, but we can't,
We don't have the right to change anything.
we can't change that
That's
one.
30 years ago, or whatever,
Right.
when they did that.
You're not talking that culvert.
No,
You're
I'm
talking the
talking
culvert that
that
comes
one.
out of the retention pond.
Yes, I'm talking the one coming out of the retention
Correct.
pond.
So,
Well,
now my next,
yeah, all the numbers support that.
right, my next question is, their engineers say it's good, you guys checked it, it's good. So what do we say to Adam? It's not the city's problem, so then we have to send him to black tie. Is that our ultimate answer?
Becomes a civil
Well,
problem.
and I know what they're gonna do, so I know what they're gonna say. You know what they're gonna say to me, so.
I'm just saying that,
Could we go together and talk to them about this or not?
I don't know, can we, Tom, what's,
Well, I mean, they're gonna say the city approved the plans and the city
And-
engineers and the
Right.
design engineers all.
I know, that's what they're gonna tell me.
right?
I know they are. I mean, that's why I can't go talk to them. I have no authority.
Well, I mean, the city.
I mean, the only thing I can do is go to civil court with them, probably, right?
That's probably it.
But.
I mean, that's why I'm asking the question, I'm not trying to be
I mean, I
smart.
don't wanna, I know, I don't wanna go to court, I wanna do
I
this
know.
before. I mean, nobody wants to go to court,
I
I
know.
mean, it's a waste of time and money, but you know that's what's gonna come down to.
I would say, having been in your shoes and currently I'm in your shoes, just on a parcel in Sioux Falls, talking to that property owner didn't help, talking to the city didn't help, and yeah, so my next step would be a civil lawsuit. So I can empathize with you.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to, I wanna do it before, I mean, we don't need to go spend all that money on it. I mean, I'll probably still lose on it, but still, but.
I don't know the owners of Black Tie, but I would think that they would maybe entertain a conversation and at least come out there with you during a rain event potentially and look at it. I mean, that seems like a reasonable thing. We can't really do anything in November. We have we don't have any footage of all the rain.
No, I know.
You know, I mean, we have nothing,
It's
not that your word isn't any good, but we have nothing to really reference.
Did you want to say something
Well,
now?
And just, I mean, the city engineering plans and design standards were all met.
Yeah.
I mean, and that makes it very difficult for the city to come in and say, you need to change this,
But-
we approved 4 years ago.
But even though the way the water flow, natural flow should be to the south, even though, I mean, that doesn't make a difference or not. You change the route of the water. The
I don't
route
think
of the
they
water
did
should flow
according
to
to
the
the
south, and you change the water flowing east now.
I don't, Justin, that's probably more.
Yeah, I think we could talk about that till we're blue in the face tonight, so I would
Yeah.
really prefer that.
There's a
But
high
that's what it
point,
looks
there's a
like.
high point somewhere in there because it would pond south of, it would pond at approximately the north, if I'm looking at this right, the northeast corner of our northeast ball diamond. It would collect there and then,
That's where it goes, yeah.
On this, it
Right.
looks like it splits right in the middle of the parcel.
Yes, it's about right at I'd say right at the 40 line, the north and south 40 lines is
So
where I would
that's
say
all
it's
the
at.
parcel and you split it in the middle,
Yeah,
and you black ties on that side.
they should all come to the south, shouldn't it? Because that's the way the natural flow goes according to those maps. And even back on those maps of 2010 and 15 and 17, they're all wet in the center there, so it shows the water is flowing to the south.
But there's about 4 spots where it's wet to the north, too.
Where
Can you gotta
Yeah,
look at
I'm
this.
sorry, I'm trying.
Oh, I'm like, no, that's not what we're talking about.
Well, this is obviously a public record
See, all
now.
of
It's
those.
something that we can continue to monitor and address, but we just have,
Those do come to the north.
we just have
But those
no,
aren't coming off of black tie.
we have no
That one
authority.
is.
Well, yeah, that one is, but the other two aren't. And those two really aren't an issue. They usually farm through them every year anyway, and it's no big deal. I mean,
Go ahead and say what
Yeah,
you're
go
going
ahead,
to say.
sorry.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we have no authority. I mean, this is on public record. It's something, it's an issue that we can obviously continue to monitor. We'll obviously want to be out getting some, I'm looking forward to a dry spring, relatively speaking, without a lot of rain, but part of me wants to see a moist spring too, so we can really address what's going on here.
Well, I think the question is, though, what are we gonna do?
We can't, we have no
Right.
authority, other than to say yay or nay, what Adam's saying is true or, false, or just observe it with our own eyes, because we have nothing but your word, unfortunately, and not that, again, like that, I'm not saying that's not good, but we've got the engineer's report, we've got previous, Google photos, we don't have from you is a drain tile layout or any other historicals really, for your parcel, unfortunately.
if you want me to show you where the drain tile's at in there, I can show you exactly where it's at.
But I think Travis is right. I think until we get, now that it is, we've talked about it, that's why we asked you to come back for a meeting to talk about this. But I hope you understand, our hands are tied. We set the standards, they've met the standards, and really, we have to say, now it's down to you guys, you and them. And I get it what you're saying, but
You know what's gonna happen out there.
You know what, though, I've always heard this saying, the answer is always no if you don't
Yeah.
ask. So I think my encouragement out of this would be to at least have a conversation. And,
All right.
I think that would be a good direction to go. Have a conversation and you never know.
I would ask you this, if you do that, Adam, have a conversation, please let us know. Either let Justin know, let Teresa know, just let us know keep us apprised of what happens.
All right.
Okay?
Well, for future, be careful how you're doing drainage. It affects a lot of people.
I
mean,
get it.
It's not fun. We put all the drain tile in there so we don't have surface drainage, so we don't have to worry about all the surface water on top of the ground.
Right.
That's why we have drain tile out there. That's what I'm getting at, and that's what really is frustrating when you spend all the money to put a drain tile in, and you're still getting dumped on to have surface water. That's the frustrating part about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen an 80 that my mom owns that got drain tile 2 years ago, now they're farming at Fence Road.
Yeah, I know.
You make a huge investment.
I know.
And you expect an ROI there
Oh,
to be a crop.
Yeah.
I get it. But is there anything that says your drain tile is still 100%, like it hasn't been compromised?
No.
Nothing could have changed that.
No, like the last 2 summers in the center up there, where you said it was drowning out, I can't get rid of all that water. It takes forever when you got, how many thousands of gallons of sitting water sitting on there, that's, 2.5 foot deep, 2 foot deep out there. It takes a while to get rid of that water to drain, so.
All right.
I know it hasn't been, I've checked all my I checked tiles.
Is that
I put drain tile in, I know what we're doing for tiles, so.
Yeah.
Where you're dumping down there by that township?
Yeah.
Is that culvert been compromised, or is that open?
No,
or-
it's open. I make sure it's open.
On the
I make sure
backside.
there's nothing blocking it at
There's
all.
nothing on the backside, on the east side that's silted in or anything like that?
No.
Whole water back?
I make sure of it.
I think Michael had a picture of that, right?
Yeah,
Michael went and took a picture of that
Yeah.
that culvert. I think we seen that last,
I make sure there's nothing in there.
yeah,
Because I want water gone. I don't like it.
raccoons.
Okay,
All
well,
right.
I guess that's it.
We
For now,
Like Sean said, he's a master salesman, listen to him. It's always no unless you start
have a
asking.
conversation.
Yeah. Thanks, Adam.
When is this photo from, Adam?
Is he? Yeah, I think he. What's that?
When is this photo from?
The 60s.
They didn't have this photo's from the 1960s?
Yeah.
They had satellite imagery back then?
Oh, yeah. You want to
Probably
hop back? You
floodplain.
can go.
That's crazy.
How far back you want to go?
Wow.
I can find some pictures. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
All right, next up, we have the fire department report. The chief is not here this month. He is, sent his report in. It's in the packet. All right. Next up, building inspector code enforcement report. Kyle, what do you got? Anything exciting you want to add?
No, I think I got everything in the report. If you have any questions, let me know.
Everything's going good?
Slowing down for the year, I imagine.
Adam, I'm gonna circle back with you for a minute. This shows partee, so this can't be from the 60s.
What's that?
I see partee on this picture, so this can't be from the 60s.
I don't think.
Yeah, it's right here. Partee's right here.
And that wasn't built till,
Oh, that was in the 60s, yeah.
I mean, it dumps right into Knapp's front driveway. I mean, I can see it. I live right there.
Yeah, that's the whole.
So, maybe from the early 1990s?
Early 90s, yeah. Early 90s.
Okay.
all right. Anybody got any questions for Kyle?
I do not.
No.
All right, thank you, Kyle. Next up, Craig.
Just a couple of things to add to my report. The counties said they're gonna try to get out Thursday or Friday and put those anchors in for us and get that radar sign up. They're gonna use their mini on it, it's been tied up on another project, so they're hoping to get it freed up toward the end of the week here. October DMRs are finished and completed, everything went well with them. We are close to finishing up discharging ponds 2 and 3, and we are working on one, our aeration pond A, so we're getting that one pumped down. We'll just keep working on them as long as the weather holds, we can still move water, so. Parks, we did pick up the lumber today for the pickleball bathroom, so we will be getting started on that. The rafters won't be in until about December, first part of December, so we're just gonna keep working on it throughout the time until we hopefully have it all wrapped up middle of December, at least get the plumbing and stuff done, so. So we'll keep plugging away on that. And the concrete at the sports complex should be finished up tomorrow or Thursday, and that's all I got new in my report. Anybody has anything for me?
Do you have a new hire this week?
Yep, started Monday.
Thanks. You may have said that, but my mind was elsewhere. So, thanks.
Sorry.
And he's your builder, he's gonna be builded, huh?
Yep,
Did you hand him a hammer and say, go?
I got him going on it. He had to bring his own hammer.
Oh, he did have to bring his own
And his
hammer,
own
okay.
tape measure.
Okay,
We're a little short and stuff.
all right, anybody got any questions for Craig? Thanks, Craig.
Yep.
Karen?
My report's in the packet. Don't really have anything to add unless someone has questions.
Bummer to see the pennies for taxes lower
What's
than
that?
last year. The tax revenue.
Yeah, we're down a little bit.
Total cash is significantly up, though.
Yeah, who knows why?
Seems like we're spending a lot of money.
Thrifty.
Got some-
Yeah, I don't think that's it. We probably paid a big bill last October or something.
Probably. All right, any questions for Karen?
Probably $1 million for a wastewater plant.
Yeah. There we go. That's when we started signing $1 million checks. All right, we'll move on to Teresa. What do you have to add to your fine report?
I don't really have anything more to add than what I have on there.
All right,
Do you have questions about that?
nobody's signed up yet to be our snow
We've
removal
got
guy?
no apps for snow removal yet. Such an exciting
Um,
job.
Jadron have a CDL?
Yes, he does.
And he is aware that he might
Other
have to help
other
us
duties
out.
as assigned, he already knows that?
Next week or two, we're gonna be getting him in the trucks and get him driving, and we're gonna give him a route.
All right.
Would be those duties as assigned.
Hey, did they get a spot? Have they moved?
Not yet, he's still
Okay.
toting back and forth.
Okay. All right. Any, oh, and you want to go over your flyer deal?
Yeah, so Also in your packet, I added in my report, we talked about, doing the flyer, we got that 100,000, 50 and 50, or, budgeted in the general fund and in the third penny fund for economic development for 2026. Last time, or a couple times ago, we talked about doing a little flyer to kind of advertise it out there, so various groups or whoever's got a good idea for economic development can come to the city. When we talked about that, we says, okay, when they do come to the city, what's going to be our criteria? What's going to be, we think it qualifies or whatnot. So I did put together, did a little Googling on the internet of different criteria and put together this second sheet that's in your packet. At this point, I'm just looking for input, thoughts. Good, is it not? Are we missing something? Or you're just kind of looking at your input, so, when 2026 does come around, and if somebody does come to the city, we've got something to go off of.
On number 3, vision of the governing board, should that be council? Should that be city plan? Who's the
I guess,
governing board?
to me, it'd be like, what kind of project is it? Is it a parks project? Because maybe that should go
Oh,
to
so
the
it's
park
the-
board or something. Or,
Okay.
Governing board.
Is it,
Who should it
something
go
with
to?
planning and zoning? Because that may be whoever. I mean, ultimately, everything's going to get to you guys. The governing
But
board.
maybe for starters.
But it might
we
start
give it-
somewhere else.
Give it to P and Z, give it to Park and Rec.
Maybe
give it
just
to-
change it to body.
Everybody?
More generic.
Yep.
Small letters. And then on number 8, on funding, I think that's a good question. Is it secured? But I think we should ask what other funding is available for the project.
Right, exactly. What is your timeframe? Do you have any other funding secured? Is this going to, do you have enough
Is it gonna
funding
complete the
on
whole
top of
project?
if you get
Right.
this? Can you get this completed? And, is it a viable project that way?
So, I think I'm a little bit, not necessarily confused, but, because we haven't had a lot of discussion on this, and I know we've talked about it a little bit at,
First time.
well, no, we talked about it probably a month or 2 ago, just briefly though.
Yeah.
That might have been the meeting.
When we suggested.
Oh,
When we
yeah,
saw the
yeah.
poster, we talked about
So-
it.
I guess, and I think Travis, you kind of thought of this, I know I was gone in August. I'm trying to wrap my mind, so this is what are we trying to accomplish here as a council with this? I mean, so it's open to a whole host of things. It could be somebody, hey, I want to start up a company and I've got this great idea, and it could be,
Yep.
we want to build this project or build an I mean, it could just be, the floor is open, is that kind of the idea behind this thing, or?
Spur thoughts,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to catch up on this thing.
With a plan behind it, with actually
Yeah.
a business.
Yeah, they actually got
They
to
gotta
give
have
us some
to- They can't
information.
just be like, I want to come in and I
Right.
want it for blah, blah, blah. I mean, it has
Well,
to
and I
be
think-
very specific.
Like, very detailed personal opinion here, but, I can't all of a sudden decide, I'm gonna open a new business, I'm gonna get this $100,000 and open my
Right.
business. It would need to be more than a personal benefit. Yes, there's sales tax maybe, but
Right.
but how does that fit in?
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm going though, like, what is it that we would?
Leadership development,
Yeah,
maybe for Hartford Leadership Development
Right.
program, could be, maybe someone has another donor or potential grant for some type of recreational facility that we could match or help with. I don't think we know until we start to see them, but I don't think it's meant to give $100,000 to someone for a new business.
right.
Well, it came out of the budget meeting, and it was meant not to, so the Economic Development Foundation had their ask, and it wasn't, there was a motion made for less than their ask was, and so this, I felt, was some sort of a compromise to not only allow them the opportunity to come back with an ask in the future if they felt the need to, but also opened up other opportunities for other bodies and other entities in the community. And we
Those are
split
my
it
only
between-
comments. I think it's a good start.
Yeah, Matt?
We split it between third penny and
General.
general fund, so. that gives us even more flexibility.
Okay.
Well, if you think of anything, we're gonna really kick this off in 2026, right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, none funds
So-
available then, but.
If you think of anything as you're looking through this again, just by all means, shoot Teresa a note, and we'll get a final draft, and we'll probably approve a final draft sometime, and
I say maybe in January, beginning of the year.
December,
We'll
first
look
of
at
the
this
year.
again.
Yep.
and,
Even if the
um,
school brought in some kind of a training program or, we could
Yeah,
partner.
a work training program through the school or something.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it to our daycare at Christ Lutheran and said, look, you guys directly have an impact on economic development in this community if you can enhance your child care program.
Yep, yep.
So,
I know of another organization, they have a great idea. I'm working with them. Not one that I'm a part of.
It'll be kind
So-
of interesting to see what people
There's an
come up with.
entity that you're not a part of.
There is some I'm not part of. So, I mean, there's a lot, and I think that, and whether someone comes and asks for a portion, I mean, it could be multiple.
Right.
Right.
It could be multiple asks, so we're
Yeah,
able to
something to
divide
be-
it out between multiple organizations within the city.
I don't think it's meant to be the sole funding source. I guess that's not how I envisioned it.
I would
That
like
might
to
be
see
something
it,
to
yeah.
battle out when we
Spread
get
out.
some ideas, but it's
Yep.
meant to make it feasible.
it would be awesome if we had 2 or 3 or 4 come rolling, and that'd really be awesome. We really had to, that amount. That'd be very encouraging. All right, anything else on that?
Yeah, so
Thank
if you think of
Yep.
anything or any tweaks to it, let me know and we'll look at this at the beginning of the year and be able to roll it out then.
All right, good enough. All right, we'll move over to new business. First one up, Hartford Area Development Foundation funding request. Mr. Eric Bartman.
That is me. Good evening, council. I would like to respectfully request the release of last year's allocated funds in the amount of $55,590. As you know, these funds were designated to support the foundation's ongoing work in strengthening economic development, improving local infrastructure, and promoting the long-term viability of Hartford. This year, the foundation is facing a significant financial obligation related to the street assessment bill issued by the city of Hartford. Applying the previous allocated $55,590 toward the assessment will allow us to meet this obligation responsibly and avoid depleting the limited funds we rely on to support our mission and operations throughout the year. Access to these funds will allow us to remain financially sound while continuing to support projects that benefit residents, businesses, and broader Hartford region. We appreciate the partnership we have with the city of Hartford, and we thank you for your consideration of this request. Your support enables us to keep moving forward with Hartford. I also would like to add, with our development up there, we have 2 projects currently under construction, or one that's actually moved into be my building, the one next door to my building. There's a lot sold to the west. We have 3.5 acres that are also under contract, and another really warm lead of anywhere from 20 to 40 acres. All of those projects have been brought under contract without a
Filter?
without a realtor. All that work has been done as the board or with Amy's direction.
Not a realtor?
Yes. We have,
So Bender signs up there, but you're not using Bender?
they have,
Well, they probably sold it,
all those
1%
transactions
of
have
it.
been made without having to, the leads that come through us, our
Got it.
contracts written to
Okay.
them,
All right.
but we don't have to.
So you got 2 other, so you got, obviously you got the 2 projects and then, 1 sold and, or,
We have a purchase agreement for 3.5 acres north of my building.
North of yours,
My
okay.
building, the one south, and the lot that's directly west of me is sold.
I had a question on the street, and I was thinking about this today. So when did do you remember when the board became aware of the street assessment? Was that recently?
Me personally, yes.
Okay.
I mean, I was not aware of it back when, and I think that's probably when there was probably a breach in communication or lack of communication of when Amy was still a employee here versus an employee of us, so I think there was some communication breach there, but it did kind of become a surprise to me. And it's obviously a surprise to business owners, myself, and R&L next door too, that we're doing the assessments as well. But I guess back to your guys' conversation on your flyer prior to, you know, you guys want a specific ask for what we're gonna use those funds for economic development. I guess for us as a board, if we're to come to you guys outside of this ask, but let's say for next year for this 100,000, essentially, we would like that money to pay for our salary of our economic development director. There is no way this stuff that is funneled through the Development Foundation can be done without a full-time position. Everybody that's on that board are business leaders and volunteers. And there's absolutely no way we would follow those leads and get the work that we are getting done without a full-time position. There's no way it happened.
I think, I'm not trying to cut it off, but I think we should focus on your requests tonight and then focus on your next request.
Yeah, there's
Not
not
tying them
next
together?
request. That is my next request.
Yeah.
I was just wanting to kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it's, sometimes with economic
Bring it back.
development, it's tough to be specific. It takes time.
What are the funds for the street assessment due and payable?
What's that?
When are the funds
When?
for the street assessment due and payable to the county?
October of
So
2026.
that they have till October 1st of 2026 to pay the city. They can pay all of it, a portion of it, or whatnot. Whatever is unpaid by October 1st of 2026 will get sent to the county.
Okay,
Any balance, if any.
got it, okay.
And that this year time frame, none of that accrues any interest or anything, you know, with the city. If it does go to the county, they're on a payment plan with interest on it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think the question for the council is that we have this money budgeted. We did our budget in 2024, they're asking for it in 2025, that's the reality.
We
of
had
it.
money in 2025 as well.
No, I don't know.
No, we budgeted 2020.
They
This-
asked for it in '24 for the 2025
Year.
year. So
We
it's
have
in
money
this year's
this year.
budget, yes.
Right.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
you could- I
budgeted
think
this, we budgeted
He said it kinda-
55,590,
Yep.
yes. But we did not budget for 26, correct?
I think
That's the hundred.
No, that's that 100,000.
That's-
That's-
okay.
yes.
For me, the issue I can't wrap my head around is why you would pay that street assessment early. You know, why would you ask for these funds for the street assessment when it's not due for a year? And you're sharing with us all of the potential revenue that you're gonna be generating on, business development up there.
Well, even the potential revenue that we're generating, we also have 147 acres across the road that's going to need to be developed. I mean, we can't continue to deplete those funds either and have nothing to go across the road and, what is it, $250,000 just to bore underneath that road to get water and sewer over there. So, I mean, it's not like that money is gonna, yeah, it's a pot of revenue that we use to continue to develop the city. Yes, the reason why we're asking for this is so we don't deplete our pot.
I think because it's so specific though, that's the problem I have with it.
That's what you guys are wanting. You guys are wanting something specific.
But it's on a bill that's not due for a year. And it sets a precedent that at one point, we might as well not charge a street assessment if we're just
You want me to
gonna fund the money
ask
back.
for 55,590 so we can pay for our full-time economic development director?
Before it goes too much further sideways, can I make?
Well, it's not, I don't know if it's sideways,
It's headed there.
yeah.
I think when we talked about it at the last meeting, the initial request, and you happen to be in a far nicer place than South Dakota in November, we talked about, I think there was a request in recognition of the development the purpose of the HADF if we could waive that assessment, and I think our answer to that was
No, right.
and so that, I think then the next question was, well, what if the funds that we had planned to use because of the shared purpose for HADF would be used basically for that assessment? And that would be the purpose, that I think we had asked for previously. So that's kind of how we got here.
To this point, yeah.
To where we, it's from one pocket to the other.
Right.
Do we want a gesture with those budget funds to help HADF with those assessment fees for only HADF, but that the assessments would go out as planned? So that was kind of how we got, at least my version of
Yeah,
how
I
we
think
got to
that's-
this discussion.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, the assessment has to be paid no matter what, we established that, now,
Yes.
yeah, that's
What was the assessment fee again?
28 or, is it
54.
50?
There's three, but 54,
We have another
$364.
$1,100.
$54,000.
Change order towards the,
Thank you.
so there's another $1,100 change order that would essentially square us almost right up to 55,500.
I think to your point, Travis, what the word I've used is optics. We're billing the businesses, and we're really right pocket, left pocket in this money. And I'm curious how that looks. That's and not that we want to tell you what to do. It'd be easier if it said, for operating expense, blah, 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 and call it whatever. That's my only 2 cents, because
I think it's, I would look at it as continuing to support the development of that particular piece of
yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
property.
yeah, I mean, they
That
can pick what
HADF
they
still
want to do
owns
with
those
it.
lots, so.
Right. All right.
I mean, essentially, if we didn't have, luckily, we have a 3.5 acre parcel that's sold, we're gonna be closing out hopefully after the first of the year. And that would continue to help us to operate, to operate, to pay our full-time director. And like I said, we're doing that without a realtor, we're getting these sales done without paying a 6% commission payout. So, and I like to think everybody on that board is looking in the right direction for Hartford to bring the right businesses to that development. We're not looking to bring storage sheds, we're not looking to bring stuff that is not bringing jobs. We're looking, and we're turning away things that are not attractive, we're just not even looking at stuff. So I feel like we're looking at the businesses there, but without anybody in a full-time seat there, you can't operate.
You don't have the time to do that? No,
Nobody
kidding.
has the time to operate
Yeah.
that without somebody sitting there.
And I think the further, I mean, I think the further conversation here, and like I said, I'm not gonna go, but I think this all plays into it. I mean, obviously, there's been I'm not gonna say miscommunication, but I think I don't think the city has been as close to the HADF as in the past. Is that a fair way of saying that?
Mhm.
Probably.
Hopefully we can fix that.
Right, yeah, so I mean, I think, I guess my hope would be, is to bridge that gap, whatever that looks like. I think if the city and the HADF are growing in the same direction, even better than what we're doing now, would be a benefit to both entities.
I mean, Cindy said it right earlier, I mean, it's leadership development, I mean, I think there is, even if it can come from the HADF somehow, leadership development needs to start in this community, because nobody wants to step up and sit at this table or sit
Yeah.
at our table.
Yeah.
And you look at the average age, average age of people that were in our strategic planning meeting, it was almost 50 years old.
Yeah.
So, we need.
That's because I brought it up a few years ago.
Right.
You wanted to say it, I know you wanted to say it.
But we need that leadership development in
Yeah.
this community to get the younger.
Oh, Daryl brought it up higher.
Get the younger generation.
I don't know if you notice this, everything's about art.
Oh, man. Holy smokes.
I think the youngest one in that room was 38 years old.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
That was Teresa.
Yeah, I think I was on the high end.
Well, I think, communication, clarity, and transparency go a long way. What's your role at the HADF?
I'm vice president as of yet,
Okay.
When does that,
first year.
okay.
I'm gonna be president the first year.
That sounds good. I just, there's a nice article in the paper today, and it references Justin Ike as the president, so I was just clarifying,
Yeah.
who was in what
Yeah.
position.
First year is when it transitions.
I don't have a problem with the ask, I have a problem with the use of the funds. That's my concern. Why would you pay that street assessment early? I certainly would.
Hell no.
So it seems like the ask is for something that you think we would have potentially approved. But from a business
Which we
mindset,
might
I'm
have
not
told
going
him,
to
we
pay
might,
it.
I mean, that was the
Well, I know,
discussion.
but
To be
entertain the
fair.
discussion, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, I think that's just my opinion. From a business mindset, you wouldn't pay that early. I'd pay it the day of.
Not a year early.
So we don't pay the electrician early.
Yeah, make sure you write your check out correctly, it will come back.
We have more discussion?
$7,000, yeah.
Anything else? If not, we need a motion, and
I'll make a motion to approve the funding request for HADF in the amount of $55,590.
do we have a second?
I will second it.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Mattson?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Keel?
Abstain.
Horacek?
Yes.
Schilling?
No.
So that's 3 and an abstain, so that fails. And I don't get a say, do I? No. All right, so what's our next step? It dies, we either put it back on the agenda for another, can we do that?
We'll put it on the agenda every single meeting if you want to, but.
I would just like to see it at our next meeting with a different,
Verbiage.
Same.
with different verbiage.
You literally can't make a motion now to do it though? You can't make a motion now?
Well, we can't really change
You
your
can't change the,
paperwork, I don't
the
think.
the topic of what's on the agenda.
Yeah, unfortunately, what's on the agenda is to approve the funding request. I would love to
I
make.
mean, I've
that
been through the
motion.
last 2 weeks, I'm not coming back third, don't say that.
You don't have to come back third. You could send Amy, you could just submit it to Teresa. We understand why you need the funds. I just can't look at the taxpayers and tell them it's for your street assessment.
Well, next, we get to have a proposal to appoint Keith Carlson to the Ward 1 seat. Travis, I'll let you kind of steer this, because you were the one that went and solicited, would that be a good word? Solicited Keith.
I asked Keith if he felt any obligation to perform any kind of civic duty. No, I did not.
But he did say that in his message, which he sent to me, which I thought was really great. Rarely do we have people say, I feel that it's within my civic duty to step up and do this. And I think I told you that today. We have very few people do that.
Keith is my neighbor. Keith's lived in Hartford for
About 7 years.
7 years now, yeah.
It's gone fast.
Yeah, it had, that's great to hear, yeah. I was looking up, you up in my system and you weren't in there, so it means it's been more than 4, because we changed our system for Travis Electric
You gotta
stuff.
transfer that data over, man.
Well, you gotta cut it off at some point, right? Like, 10,000 customers don't import well. But, yeah, Keith likes hockey.
Yep.
Keith lives on Part T, likes golf.
Sounds like Duncan. Do you know Duncan?
I actually convinced Duncan to come here.
Really?
Yeah.
And there's that
So
connection.
you're who to blame? No, I'm just kidding. He's a great guy.
There's that connection as well.
I
And
was
so,
surprised he was a friend of a friend, and
Yeah.
and then he asked about South Dakota, and I gave him the whole spiel about why you should move here. And
Took him to a
I never-
Stampede
I
game,
never
if I
met him
remember,
before.
right?
I just
Did-
met at a coffee shop
Yeah.
and said, this is what we did, and I gave him a whole, probably
Yeah.
6, 7 sheets of handwritten stuff, but what we like about, so.
Yeah. And he's a big hockey nut. You took him to a hockey game, I think he told me.
Yeah.
Or you hooked
we've
him
done
up,
a little
or-
of every,
yeah.
yeah, he's done a little of everything, but yeah, he's a hockey nut.
Yeah.
and so knowing that, I knew Keith's heart was in Hartford. I mean, and really felt, I didn't know how passionately he felt about the community. Obviously, felt passionately enough to talk Duncan into coming here without, necessarily
Yeah.
selling him on it. He just said, hey, this is what it is. And so, just like, gosh, we had there'd been some debate betwixt Arden and I about, several different folks in Ward 1. And just on a whim, called Keith and asked if he or his wife, would be willing to fill a 1-year commitment on city council. He agreed, and so thank you.
Well, thank you, that was a shock, but it was, I was honored, I was surprised, but yeah, I said,
That's awesome.
yeah.
Thank you.
All right, do you want to make that motion?
Yes, love to. Make the motion to appoint Keith Carlson to Ward 1 council.
Second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. Mattson?
Yes.
Bowen?
Yes.
Keel?
Yes.
Horacek?
Yes.
Schiller?
Yes.
Welcome aboard. We will swear you in at the next meeting at the beginning, and then you'll take a spot. And you'll take a spot, and Cindy will be gone.
I'm only on 1 week now,
Yeah.
so.
So she'll be gone only one meeting.
Okay. Yeah,
And
fantastic.
I gave Teresa your phone number today, so she will be in touch.
Okay,
And if you and I need to talk in the next couple weeks before, if you feel anything you need, you have my number now,
I do.
since I called you.
yeah,
And we can sure get together and talk, and these guys are all on the website if you need to talk to any of them. And you talk to Travis on a regular basis, so.
put it on every one, but,
Usually from across the yard, hey, how's it going?
So, all right, do we have anything for exec?
I do not.
I do not. Do you got anything? Anybody got anything for exec? I don't think so. Tom, you got anything you want to yell at us about?
I'm not gonna yell at you tonight, Arden.
That's rare.
You've been well behaved.
All right, I'd call for a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
All in second? All in favor?
I